What's up, fellow budget tone chasers? Welcome to one more live stream here at the channel. Yeah, guys, today one more unboxing for us to understand what the M-VAVE is bringing new in the market. Yeah, so lots of promises, big hype about this new equipment, and of course, we always try to bring the things as fast as we can here at the channel, so we are able to bring fresh information. And for today, the general idea is going to be to again unbox the equipment and take a look at it, share my first impressions with you all, and understand for who this equipment could be for, considering these first impressions that we are actually having. So I hope that you can hear me well. As always, please, if you could give me a feedback, if you can hear me on the chat, it would be great, guys. So please let me know. I'm going to wait some seconds until you're going to have the feedback from you. Please let me know if you can hear me. I see that George is here. For sure, George. I will do some clean chords on the Fender amps. We can do this test. Jeffrey is our member. Good to see you here, man. Welcome. I hope that you can hear me well, guys. So, for those who are here, you're really welcome. And I think that we can move forward. Yeah? Good. So, first thing, I have here, as you can see in my table, the new box of content that we recently received from M-VAVE. So first of all, I would like to thank the good friends of M-VAVE for sponsoring this video and sending us for free this pedal. As you see here, actually, they were really gentle to send us not only the black box, but actually even other pedals that on the future we're going to be also providing for you as gifts for the giveaway. So I hope that we are able to have a really nice partnership and a long partnership. So thank you so much, friends from M-VAVE, for being part of the channel growth and channel history, okay? So without further ado, guys, I think that we can open the box and we can start finally taking a look of what we have inside. As you can see, it's a huge box because it's not only the black box, which is here. So there we have lots of bubble wrap. So let's take this out. Yeah, so the first one, we have the IR box that we intend to do a review here at the channel soon, and on the 5th July we're going to have the giveaway for this IR box. So if you're still not a member of the channel, do not lose the opportunity to participate in the giveaway contest. So you have the QR code there in the corner of the video. You can support the channel. It's not a huge value, but for us it helps the things moving. So if you would like to participate in the giveaway, you know how to get it. So first one is the IR box. Later, we have the star of the night. That is the black box. Pretty small. And the last one is again one more Tank G that the good friends from M-VAVE sent me, so we can take a look on how actually it's looking like the equipment after we had the changes on the safety standards. So people were concerned about the battery issue. M-VAVE was able to address this issue, and they just sent us the corrected one so we can take a look on how it looks like. So probably a Tank G will be in the next giveaways also. So let's take out the box from the table, and there we are. So, 3 new pieces of gear that were kindly provided by our good friends of M-VAVE. So once again, thank you so much, M-VAVE, for the trust and for the support here at the channel. But let's cut the chit chat and let's go straight to what is the topic for today. So this is not a topic for today, and this is not a topic for today. And this actually is the topic for today. So let's try to take a look on how it looks like. Today I have the possibility to connect it to the computer and to be able to do a little bit better testing together with you compared to how it was done the Tone X1. So of course, experience on live streaming is improving a little, so I expect that we're going to have a little bit better test this time, okay? So please let me know if it's according to your expectations. I'm taking a look at the chat, so if you're going to have any comments, any questions, we can guide our testing and first impressions together, okay? Really good. So let's take a look on how it looks like. This is something interesting. M-VAVE started finally providing a little bit better manuals. I hope that you can see it here. So here in the box, you see that we have the app for scan and also the user manual. What is really good, because the first things that they were selling generally were just with Chinese language manuals, so not that easy to understand all the functionalities. And to be honest, sometimes we were even discovering the things on the go, yeah? Basically flying free and trying to discover it. On the Tank G, I think 1 month later, the release, people were discovering that it was able even to do coffee with that piece of gear, yeah? So this is something that is good to see that M-VAVE is actually trying to give better instructions. The box is really compact, guys. Like, this is pretty tiny. I don't know if by the video you're able to have an idea of the size, but it's basically the same size of the Mini Universe or the Elemental. So it's really small. To be honest, I was not expecting something that small. Here we have the user manual, also printed. What is good, even in English language, not only in Chinese. For the good friends that would like to take their try on the Chinese, you have a nice challenge. But this is really good. So even later we can take a look on what are the modes and the types of effects. Seems that here we have even the description and the list of the effects, like the list of the delays and list of reverbs. So it's good that we have some basic user manual that we can use for reference. So good. Positive point, positive evolution to M-VAVE. One of the million possible types of cables. So one more USB-C type, of course, because this is the standard that all the M-VAVE equipments and pedals actually have. So yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, it's pretty long. Not that bad. So pretty standard cable. I'm going to keep it here because I'm going to use the original one to turn on later. Back to focus. And now what everybody wants to see, that for sure is not the manual and the cable, yeah? But how looks like the unit itself. And there we have the black box. Let me throw a little bit more of light so you can see what we have here, because black on black tends to not be that easy to see. Okay, I hope it's better now. Good. So it's really, really, really small unit, guys, and really slim unit, as you can see here. So basically, I would say that is maybe 1/3 bigger than what could be the M-VAVE Elemental and the Mini Universe. So it's a really, really tiny unit. And you can see here that you have the standard headphone plugs, input and output, this time only P10 ones, the USB-C, and the power toggle. So no more balanced output like on the Tank G, unfortunately. But this already starts telling a little bit about what I believe that is the strategy for M-VAVE for this piece of gear. I already knew it because when I was taking a look on the pictures of the product before they released it, I was already trying to pay attention on that. So later I will share with you my impression about what M-VAVE is doing actually with this release. Because for some people, maybe this could be a way to cannibalize their own product. Because basically, we're talking about the Tank G that is a pretty new equipment released early 2023, maybe. But that got pretty popular on the end of 2023, beginning of 24. And people were not expecting the black box to be released so soon. The first images and pictures of this equipment actually appeared on the Chinese music fair that happened previous year. And even people had some sneaky peeky of this image on the MFX system. That is the same one that the Tank G uses. So lots of people were expecting this to be released, but to be honest, not so soon. And without any notice, suddenly it was there for sale on the AliExpress. So earlier than majority of the people, I believe, would expect. So let's now talk a little bit about the product itself. So metal casing, pretty solid, same level of construction as the Tank G and as the M-VAVE Elemental. Of course, soft foot switches, because they are basically moving functions, so they cannot be like a definitive staying. Basically, they're instant action foot switches. The buttons are pretty solid, to be honest. I saw some videos that some units were coming already with issues on the buttons, that when you were pressing, it was not going up, but this unit here at least looks really good, and no issues with the buttons itself. In terms of knobs, we have one basic standard knob here, and we have one step knob that doesn't have an end, so the one that probably we're going to use to change the parameters. You cannot read it here, but basically you have here written parameter and here master. And from what I saw on the reviews, yes, this is the button that actually you can click to select the parameters. So I need to say, for an 85 bucks piece of gear, that is what it's costing now, it's pretty decent. But if you consider about the reliability of this in the long term, those buttons for sure are the most fragile part of the equipment, okay? Especially this little thingy here. I don't know how it's going to resist in the long run for rotating and pushing. This one, okay, was just a standard knob, so looks pretty fine. I will not open today to take a look on the battery, okay, guys? So, but I hope that M-VAVE learned with the experience with the Tank G. So, of course, they have all the certifications, as you can see here, including the ROS. So, should be minimally certified to guarantee that we don't have, again, issues with punctured batteries like it happened on the previous unit that is the Tank G. Okay? Good. So, this is basically the first perceptions in terms of what looks like the equipment. Now let's talk a little bit about the navigation. So as you can see here, this is the screen. Maybe I can give a little bit of zoom. Let me see if I can help you. Aha, not bad. So this is how it looks like the interface of the pedal itself. So you can see that here you have the parameter button to navigate, plus the luminous buttons here, and here you have basically the signal chain. An interesting thing here, it shows already the battery level. It's really good, because on the Tank G, you were never able to know how much battery you had. So for people that were planning on using this live and professionally, this was a little bit of a downsize on the equipment itself. So this is something that helps the professional use of this. Here you have basically a master volume that I understand that is not the volume of the patch. I believe that probably is much more adjusting the volume of the output of the headphones. Honestly, I don't know if this is going to influence on the output of the P10 cable itself. Maybe yes, because as you can see here, for the volume you have actually another parameter here that you use. So basically this should be the volume of the patch that probably you would need to make it even, to guarantee that you don't have ups and downs on your volume when you are changing the patches. And it has 90 preset slots, okay? Based on what I saw on the previous reviews, we have not so many reviews on the internet. Like there is one English review, one Brazilian colleague that lives in US just released it yesterday, also his review, and first impressions, actually not a full review, but 90 slots, no more banks, everything managed just by those two foot switches, okay? Preset up, actually 90, not 80, not 90. Oh, okay, so sorry, correcting myself. 80 presets. No bank A, B, C, basically up and down. Preset up, preset down. What, honestly speaking, it's not that useful when you think about only two foot switches, okay? Before starting this live stream, I got in touch with good friends of M-VAVE, and I asked them if they could also send me the M-VAVE chocolate to be able to connect and start doing some tests on how the MIDI functionality would get in touch. And I was surprised with the answer that actually the chocolate doesn't work with the black box. So for those who were expecting that this unit here, together with the chocolate MIDI controller, you would be able to have the same functionality in terms of foot switches as the Tank G, I have bad news for you. Not for a while. But what M-VAVE also told us is that they are preparing one new unit that will work actually as a MIDI controller for this thing here. So in the short term, if you are counting on having more foot switches to be able to change the presets, you are going to have difficulties. You're going to have some issues with this. So probably the Tank G is still the best option to you if you really want to change presets on the go, having the four possible steps to change. But in the long run, we would have probably a new updated MIDI controller that actually will be able to provide the control to this thing here. So then on the end, you are probably able to control better what you are doing with this thing here. Another interesting thing, the signal chain, it's actually editable. I just don't know how to go there, but it is. Let me see if I can find it here. Home, yes, that it is. So as you can see, here we have the first slot for effects. Later you have the amp. Here you have the modulations. Later you have the delay. Later you have the reverb session, and then you have the cap. If I would like, for example, to change the position of the reverb with the delay, I am able to do it. I know that it was promised to be done also on the Tank G on the last updates of the software, but even if you were doing this on the preset, it was not changing the sound on the practice. So I really hope that this actually it's operative now. I understand that this is maybe one of the biggest advantages compared to the Tank G in terms of really professionalizing the sounds that you can get with this unit. But so I don't believe that M-VAVE would release this without this functionality working. But anyway, this is an interesting piece of function that would help you. So if you would like, for example, to move your boost in another direction, as you're going to see what we have inside the effects, or if you'd like to put maybe the modulations before the drives or before the distorted amp, actually you would be able to get different sounds and much more Van Halen-ish. Let's call like this. Yeah. I hope that you're not going to put the cab before the amp, because if you do this, you're simply savage. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's new functionality, guys. So let's take a look on what we have in terms of effects. So there are three, if I'm not wrong. Let me see if I am not mistaken. Yes. So we have here basically a compressor. Later we're going to have a boost. And later we're going to have a noise gate. The famous issue with the noise gate that happened in the Tank G, I don't know if it's solved. For those who are not aware of what I'm talking about, lots of Tank G users were claiming that actually the noise gate were not a noise gate, but basically a volume effect that after you were stopped playing, it was slowly going down. So I don't know if this is the same algorithm, if it's the same level of action that we would have there. But the most important is we have the noise gate, and more than that, if you see here on the boost, it also keeps the parameter of the gate. So you're able to have noise gate plus boost, and the same also for the compressor. So you're going to be able to have here the intensity, the sustain, and the level of compression together with the gate. So you don't lose the possibility of using the noise gate, even if you're using other functions. Of course, if you're going to change the position on the signal chain, maybe gets a little bit strange that you're moving this later, or maybe no. But yeah, so instead of having only noise gate, M-VAVE actually gifted us with two new effects that are actually, again, making this unit to get a little bit more adequate for professional usage. Okay? So basically, this is the FX part. Now, let's talk about the amps, okay? We're going to see later on, but I was checking. There are actually 20 slots for preamps here. What, honestly speaking, it's a really nice upgrade compared to the Tank G. The Tank G, if I am not mistaken, used to have 7 or 6 slots, maybe 9. Okay, not more than 10. And here we're talking about 20 slots that you're going to be able to put the preamps, including the native ones, plus captures. So this helps you to have really good flexibility to use captures. Even for you to have one stage clean, one stage maybe crunchy, a little bit more first stage of low drive, something high gainish. So it's really interesting because you're able finally to use the strategy of having different channels with different presets. So it's a big win for this unit. But the negative side is that, yeah, you need to be moving basically by those knobs that are not that comfortable. The good news is that this beautiful thing here has connectivity with the application on the mobile phone. So I would say that probably the Go solution probably it's going to be editing stuff by the phone, and of course, if you're in front of your computer, connected to the computer itself. So a really positive thing. Another thing to mention also on the preamps. From the 20 native preamps that we see here, the first 15 are guitar-related ones, and they have more 5 bass-related ones. So this means that the strategy for this product is not like the Tank G and the Tank B, that they created 2 different units, but actually it's going to be to use the same unit to cover both, okay? So this is a interesting addition that they made, yeah? Not addiction, because they're not addicted, but addition to the product itself, okay? So we're going to take a look on the preamps when we're going to enter on the application, because guys, I'm not going to be changing 20 slots, waiting the lettering to move here, but we can take a look when we're going to open actually the software in the computer. So amp, it's basically the preamp. If I come to mod, we have the list of the modulations. So we can take a look on what we have. Of course, chorus, phaser, tremolo, flanger, vibrato, univibe, and auto filter. Yeah, and that's it. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 modes of modulation. What are 4 modes more compared to the Tank G? And we still need to take a look on what is the quality of the effects here. We know that the weak point of the Tank G, and this was even a legacy from the M-VAVE, was still the modulation. The delays and reverbs were usable, were okay-ish, but the modulations were still really, really artificial. So we can take a look how it's going to sound actually, the modulations for this unit. So I hope that they were able to improve. For delay and reverbs, we have already some spoilers that they improved a lot, because basically they took the best algorithms from the mini universe and from the Elemental. If you don't know those 2 units, you can take a look on the reviews that I did here at the channel. Honestly speaking, there are no budget-friendly options with the same quality for people that really want huge trails, reverbs, and also delays like the M-VAVE Mini Universe and the M-VAVE Elemental. And you're going to see here that maybe one of the things that were the negative side of having those 2 units, that was not the possibility of having presets. Now, in this small thing here that is basically 1/3 bigger than the original Mini Universe and the Elemental, you're able to have both in the same enclosure and with presets, what is unbelievable. So, if I would be honest, if I'm really looking for 1 unit to do reverbs and delays, and I was interested on Mini Universe plus the Elemental, I would think about actually spending $25 more, from 60, maybe 70 to 85, and actually taking this unit and using it only for delay and reverb. You're going to occupy less space on the board, and you have the possibility to have presets. What is really interesting. So we start understanding more or less the differences between this unit here and the Tank G. Okay? So let's take a look on the delays. So we have here basically the analog delay, later the duck delay, later the D-tape delay, the duo one, the lo-fi one, and I think that's it. But for sure we are missing things. Duck we saw, analog we saw. Yeah, so basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 delay modes only. So relatively smaller amount compared to what we have in the Elemental. Okay? But yeah, you have basically the most searched one. So the lo-fi, the duo that can be used somehow as a rhythm pattern one, maybe, if you are able to set and have patience to set. The D-tape that, honestly speaking, for me was the most beautiful and professional delay mode inside the Elemental. And the duck, yeah, pretty fine. And the analog. Honestly speaking, I miss here the digital. But if you think about the possibility of using maybe the duo, could be, and playing a little bit with what are the parameters that they have, you could be able maybe to get an interesting digital delay, because the duo actually it's a digital one. Okay, so yeah, 7 modes of modulation, only 5 of delay. Why? I don't know. Let's take a look on the reverbs. So again, from the beginning of the list, room, that we need to understand if this room it's actually comparable to the same room of the mini universe. Why I'm telling you this? The room inside the mini universe was highly modulated. So I don't know if they have the same modulation here. It's something for us to test. Later you have the hall, that again was highly modulated in the mini universe. We need to take a look. Later we have the swell. Yeah, swell is the same one for sure from the mini universe. That is again really modulated. Later, let's see what are the next. Spring, yeah, spring. Again, if it comes from the mini universe, we need to understand if they also brought that heavy modulation. The spring reverb in the mini universe didn't have so much that characteristic of a spring tank thing, but yeah, it's a pretty beautiful delay if you don't stick to the name itself. But yeah, it's able to deliver much better than what you had in the Tank G. The shimmer, for those who are the worship and post-rock players, it's not, you are not, they didn't let you down. It's here. The shimmer is here. And I believe that this is the last one. Maybe no. No, we still have one more. So the cloud, yeah? So you can bring the angels to your church. That it is. So I think that now we are done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. Okay, so 5 modes of reverb also. So 7 modulation modes, 5 delay modes, 5 reverb modes. Then we have the cab. The cab, again, it's a combination of another thingy that they were already testing and rehearsing a little. Yeah, just one quick tip of from where. But you have 20 slots for IRs. And what is really interesting, you have the possibility to adjust the high cut and low cut. What is really, really nice for and proper usage of the impulse response. Everybody knows that the way that the sound behaves in different environments is not exactly the same when you're actually doing the tone, creating your tone at your bedroom or inside the studio. So sometimes you need to do adjustments before playing. So it's really, really good. It's really, really good to see that they actually inserted the high cut and low cut. Okay? One thing that I am still curious to see, I know that in this thing here, they had the possibility, they gave the possibility for you to choose which frequencies we're actually adjusting. I don't know if this is available here, okay? Because again, the IR box, it has a processing internally dedicated only for this. So I don't know if they're going to have enough processing power inside this such a small thing that would be able to process all the modulation, all the delays, all the reverbs, possible tone captures, and still be able to work a little bit with the cab cuttings and so on. Some interesting thing that I also discovered based on the previous tutorials and first impressions that I saw on the internet is that this thing here has step tempo. So if you come, for example, to the mods, apparently you don't have anything changing, blinking, or whatever it is. But maybe let me move to something. Let's take here the Univibe. So if you take a look here on the speed that now appears in 9, if I'm going actually to tap here, it changes. And if I will actually turn on and do this, oops, you should have, I think that you're not able to see it here, but basically you can see the blinking. So yeah, that it is. So now you can use the tap tempo to adjust. Is it perfect? Definitely not, because you need to enter in the preset to be able to do this. And honestly speaking, I don't know if I will enter on the slot, on the specific field on my application on the mobile, and if I will tap here, it will actually recognize. So this is something that we can test later, even on the computer. But if you need actually to bend on your knees to be able to click here and enter to be able to choose the tap tempo, you're going to have issues. It's not going to be practical on the regular playing gig style, okay? But of course, guys, you can always preset for each song that you're playing. Yeah, if you're not basically improvising on the go. The same is valid for the delay. So as you can see here, you have the possible tempo that is changing. And in the same way, if I will turn on, and if I'll come to time, let me turn on the delay. Okay, now it's engaged. And now you see here, it's blinking. So there you have your tempo, and you can see that actually the button's blinking. So yeah, this step tempo here, how much it's practical, only the usage will tell us, okay? Only time will tell. Not only this, guys. Back to home. As I mentioned, here you have the possibility to set the master volume of the preset, and you have also tuner that allows you the possibility to mute if you want or not, and to choose which frequency of reference you're using. Which in the practice, yeah, I think that people are not going to be changing this. Just if you'd like to continue playing, seeing the tuner, what is not something that people do so much. Yeah, and if you need to use only those 2 foot switches to choose what you're going to do, I don't think that you're going to keep it for the tuner, yeah? So, anyway, you have the tuner. And if I remember well, if you keep both pressed, you're going probably to have nothing, just a tuner. Actually, this one, if you keep pressed, it changes fast. And here also passes fast, what is good. So, something third here. I need to understand how to turn on and to turn off the Bluetooth. I remember seeing that it was something related to this, but honestly, maybe, interesting thing. If you keep pressed, you have the possibility to swap what you're doing. So if you want to change the parameters and save the changes that you're doing on the go, this is the way to go. So let's say that I'm going to add this one to, I don't know, to the preset 78. I choose, and it's swapped, what is really good. And yeah, I think that if I will keep it pressed, I don't know. Don't know, guys. I need to check on the manual. But for sure, I remember seeing that it was on those 2 foot switches that you would engage and disengage the Bluetooth. That you can see here that basically it's on now. Maybe it's like it is in the Tank G that you actually need to keep pressed, but it's not working. So, my bad. But yeah, this is first impressions, not a full review of what we are doing, okay? So guys, now I think that it's really beautiful to see the unit, but we need to hear how it looks like. So I will just do a quick shameless plug here. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the members from the channel. So, Heron, Wilk Xavier, Diego Cortez, Felipe Balotin, Gabriel Teixeira, William Jorge, Jeffrey, Maroto Social, Nathan Zamorran, Guilherme Silva, Léo Stravale, Custódio, Lucas Gonçalves, Pedro Castilho, Caverna Áudio, Marcos Tavares, Alexandre Lima, and Neto Sambora. Thank you so much for the support, for trusting our work, and for being part of the Members Club. For those who doesn't know what is the Members Club, the Members Club basically it's the group of special access here in the channel that you're going to have some additional benefits, like for example, early releases from the videos. So if you're really interested to see the full review, for sure the Black Box full review is going to be done before in the channel and in the members area. And we are going also to have Tank G captures that now actually are also black box captures. So we're going to talk a little bit later about it, but basically we are going to be able to find also DIY projects, and more than that, and maybe what is the most interesting for most of you, the gear giveaway. So as I was mentioning before, the good friends from M-VAVE were already sending us one additional unit of the black box for a giveaway. On the next 5th July, we're going to have also our giveaway for the IR box that I'm going also to do review on the next days. So if you're interested in participating on monthly giveaways, I am shipping globally, so you don't need to be worried on that. It's going to be a really interesting opportunity for you to participate inside this community. Okay, so thank you so much for all the members. You help the channel to keep moving and for being alive. And without your support, for sure things would be much more complicated. Okay, so guys, back to our unboxing screen, and to talk about the connectivity. So now I hope that you see everything there, that it is, even my mouse that you shouldn't. And let's connect. Let's see how it works. So let's take a look if this cable that comes in the unit will work with my computer. There it is. We are plugged. I do not see. Yes, it is here. So if you can see here, it's already appearing as charging. Maybe it's too small. A little more. Ooh. So if you see here, I will take out that it is. So you have the small lightning bolt there. And this shows that it's already recognizing. So what is good news for us? And for testing purposes, I think that we can change our screen. Just a second. Okay, so here we have the MFX open. What apparently it's not recognizing the unit. Let's maybe try to switch off and switch on. Okay. Maybe this is not the latest version of the MFX. So yeah, it seems that it's not recognizing. But before we go to this way, maybe we can plug the guitar and take a look at some sound samples. So back to the original plan. Okay, so guys, for today's test, I'm going to be running wireless just to make my life a little bit easier here with all the microphones and things. So yeah, let's use today the Joyo receiver. And I will not use this as an interface. For sure, it has the functionality to you work as an interface for the computer, but I don't want really to enter in these more technicalities of the connectivity. For sure, for the full review, I'm going to bring my details on that. For those who were a little bit frustrated with the connectivity, I am operating in a Mac OS environment. To be honest, it's not the piece of cake of M-VAVE, even because of their target public that is not so much for Mac things. But from what I saw, at least on all the other videos that are already popping up, if you have the Windows, if you have the latest version of the MFX, when you plug the cable, you should be able to see it straight on your computer. Maybe what we could do is to take a look on how it is on the mobile. So let me see if I can work out to show you the MFX here on the mobile. And we can test if it's really connecting. Because the MFX of the mobile until now, at least for the Tank G, never let me down. So I hope that it's not going to be now that it will. So I hope that you can see my mobile here. Maybe, let me see if I can cut a little bit of the reflection. Autofocus, that it is. So if I'll choose the black box here, it's going to scan the devices nearby. It already appears here, what is good. And apparently that it is. So if I'll change here things, yes, you can see that is actually changing there. So seems that the connectivity with the mobile works perfectly. It's a pity that I cannot say the same for the Mac users on the computer. But, you know, life is not always easy. So, yeah, at least if you need to do something on a go, you don't need to do only on the computer, you can do on the mobile. The good news is that the new version of the MFX for the mobile allows you also to load IRs and to load the captures once they are AM data 2, if I remember well what is the format, but basically the edited version of the profiler file. So if in the worst case your computer doesn't work well, you can always use the mobile to be able to load the things. So yeah, but this is the first strike one to our colleagues of M-VAVE. And here I need to say, guys, that I strongly believe that if M-VAVE will not change their approach towards connectivity and towards software management, it's going to be really difficult to see products like this flying. Because we're not talking anymore about a QVAV or a small pedal that is going to be doing basic functions. We are talking about probably updates of firmware and how we are going basically to manage the presets, maybe do updates of even the algorithms, new functions like you have for bigger multi-effects, like the case of the Volato ones, the Ampero ones, and even the Sonic Cake ones. So if M-VAVE will not step forward on this management of software and connectivity, they have a huge risk to make their audience actually piss it off and somehow maybe have the risk of losing this audience after some time. But yeah, this is just a friendly advice of a user that had already some issues with the Tank G. But again, I know that in the Windows software, things tends to run smoothly. So I really hope that it's just something focused for the Apple users. So now let's just finally plug the cable into the interface. I'll be right back. here we are. Let me turn off the song. And let's see if you can hear me. So guys, for today's test, we are using the new Harley Benton Modern Stratocaster style guitars, ST style. What is my latest crunch on guitar equipments? It's an amazing piece of gear, and I will be probably reviewing it really soon in the channel, because honestly, I think that finally Harley Benton found their way when it comes to Stratocaster style guitars. It was maybe one of their most underrated pieces of gear. Of course, you always had the Fusion ones there, but yeah, it's really nice. So basically, it's an SSH single humbucker with Tesla pickups. So really nice sounding. So this is the sound on the neck. Middle. Let me know if you can hear me. I hope that the guitar is loud enough to you. Maybe. Yeah. And this is the bridge. Okay, so this preset here, basically it's everything turned off. As you can see, no lights blinking. Let me give you a little bit more of zoom so you're able to see better the screen of the unit. There it is. So everything off. We can start maybe taking a look. We can start first just checking the tuning. There it is. So tuned, and maybe we could start taking a look on how looks like the signal chain. So first of all, let me just turn on everything. Ooh. You have now everything there. So if you take a look now, basically, okay, we have the standard. So effects, amp, modulation, delay, reverb, and cap. And we could maybe start taking a look now for what are the sounds available. So first of all, for the effects, I'll keep for a while just a noise gate, because we are still talking about a single coil. So I hope that, but it's pretty silent, so it's fine. Let's just keep the noise gate, just to do not say that they don't have an FX. And let's take a look on the amps. So the first one, I hope that you can see here, it's called UWE Twin. That, honestly speaking, I don't know what it is. But if I would go by the Twin, I would say that probably this is a twin verb, maybe. Let me know for those who maybe have a little bit better knowledge on that. But this is how it's actually sounding. this is the sound without the cab, and this is the sound with the cab. Much better. Yeah. So if we see here, I'm not going to be able to go through all the possible cabs, of course. And the objective again is just first impressions, not to go through all the possibilities. But I would maybe try to take a look for something a little bit more general. So here we have an orange V30, probably selection 412, a Mesa Boogie, probably also 412. This is a Fender Champion. Let's take a look on how sounds this Fender Champion. Boxy, yeah, as it's a small speaker. Let's see. Here we have Marshall V30s. Here we have Electro Voice. This is probably a Mesa, yeah, dual rectifier. Let's keep this one and let's continue taking a look on the amps. So here, okay, again now this is, I turn it off. So this was the Twins. And here you have what is called archetype, what honestly speaking, I don't believe that is based in a preamp. I would say that probably is based in a plugin. And I have a general guessing of what is actually the type of plugin that it's actually based on. So I would say that probably this is based on the Mateus Asato archetype style. But yeah, maybe is just a guessing. Let's take a look how it sounds. Really beautiful, clean sound. As you can see, we're also using pretty modern cabs that are the ones for the dual rectifier. But these, from what I saw, it's one of the most beautiful, clean preamps that you're going to find inside this unit. Later, we are going to have the Marshall, so probably something crunchy or gainy. No? Yeah, crunchy one. Let me move to the bridge. Interesting. Remembering that here we're seeing basically the sound pretty dry without any additional uh, ambience or modulation or anything. I would say that this is interesting preamp to use maybe with the boost. So could be interesting to have one preset with and another one without the boost. Later we have this Victor Mars one that again, guys, let me know in the comments, but I don't have an idea from where it came. crunchy one. Later we have the British plexi, maybe one of the most famous ones. Super bright, super plexi-ish. And this one, maybe we could find some cab that is a little bit more balanced than this one. Let me see if we can make it a little bit less bright. Here's the, I think this is the JC12. Yes, the Jazz Chorus one. Let's see how it sounds like. Maybe if we apply the high cut here, could be. Yeah, so more plexi style as it's expected from it, yeah? Uh, let's see, maybe we are already in the world of the bass IRs. Let's see in this orange. I don't want to take copyrights, so just a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, really plexi-ish. Then we have a Marshall here. I already see that this is high gainish. Yeah, so a little bit more JCM style. Then we have the Angel Savage, also high gainish. I'm not a metal player, guys, so of course I'm not the most adequate person to show this type of preamp. So yeah, but this would be maybe something interesting for the drop. And here you can see that started already the rain. So probably if we would now play a little bit more with the noise gate. No. Whoa. Okay. Seems that here it solves. Okay. Bad news for the friends that were annoyed with the noise gate in the Tank G. Seems that it's the same algorithm, guys. Like you see that it's basically a volume going down, So and that it is. So yeah. Unfortunately, not this time. Come on, M-VAVE. Help us on that, please. So later, we have another preamp, the Diesel AGN. Yeah, so pretty high gainish. The famous 5150. Yeah, maybe with another cab, it would get a little bit more natural. But guys, I don't have the possibility to change all the cabs and on the same time being changing the IRs plus the preamps. Like, yeah, as I told you, this is just the first impressions, it's not the full review. Okay. So next, 14 Kali. Yeah, a little bit more clean, but still, I'm still with that archetype as the most beautiful clean one till now. Later we have the Mesa. This one, I would say that probably is a Mark 5 clean. CLN clean, yeah, could be. So this is the Mesa Boogie Mark. Then you have the Fender Tweed. A little bit boxy sound. I will run a little bit faster, guys, because otherwise we're going to finish these only tomorrow. Then there is the SV20. One more crunchy sound. Orange, so we can expect high gain. Yeah, really, really noisy, as you can feel the sound of the rain behind. Then you have the Sir SL68 that, if I'm not wrong, was also on the Tank G. I can be wrong, but I think I remember seeing it. It's a little bit plexi crunchy style, what is really nice. Later, let me see if we're not. Yeah, 16, we're already in the best world. So I'll give myself, uh, as granted that we have covered all. As I told guys, this is not a full review, it's just the first impressions. So I would keep the archetype that I think that is the most clean one for us to take a look on the other effects. Later we can check also the more JCM-ish style to take a look how the modulation and the effects looks like on a more crunchy style preamp. It's really beautiful clean. Really, really beautiful clean. That it is. So we are keeping. Now we can take a look to the next in the chain, should be the modulations. So let's take a look on how the modulations actually behave. If we're going to first chorus, and here again you have the tap tempo. Whew, pretty fast. Interesting. Really interesting. Sounds a little bit more organic. Increase the mix and reduce a little bit the depth. Let me see if I can increase the volume. Beautiful. Sounds to me not the same algorithm as in the Tank G. I have the perception that they improved this. So I'm really glad that we have a little bit more organic sound of chorus, to be honest, because the Tank G1 was really plastic. Of course, in lower speed, it was a little bit better. As you see here, when you increase the speed, you're going to get something a little bit more drastic. So let's put 50. Yeah, but still a little bit digital, too much digital. But yeah, usable, especially in low speed. Then you have the phaser. Let's take a look on how the phaser sounds. Let's increase the speed a little to have something a little bit more drastic, more prominent. Yeah, phaser-ish. Could be. Later, tremolo. Tremolo was already in the Tank G. Probably you are talking about the same algorithm. Let's see. I believe the same algorithm as we had in the Tank G. Now with a little bit more control, so depth and level, what is good. Then you have flanger. I would say that probably is the same quality and style like the phaser. Let's increase a little just so we can see how it sounds in a more full. No. Now, let's do one interesting test here. Let's change the amp for something a little bit more. Yeah, maybe this one. No. This. Sounds terrible. Let's take a look here now if we can do something. Let's put the phaser. And now let's try to change the order in the chain. So if I'm going to come to home and I'm going to put now the mod before the amp, let's see how it sounds. Yeah, definitely the sound changes. If it sounds by the simulation how should look like the modulation before the drive, I'll keep this one to you to decide, okay? Um, but yeah, it makes what is promised at least to have more possibilities of sound, okay? And let's take a look on the vibrato. I'll stop using the tremolo bar. Really subtle. I cannot even hear it properly. Let me increase the depth. Okay, now seems that it's starting to appear. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Royal, royal, not good. You can hear it breaking. Yeah, no, not good. Not good vibrato at all. Maybe in lower speed or maybe in lower depth, but honestly speaking, I can still hear this digital interruption. No good, no good. Yeah, so vibrato, unfortunately, not today. Univibe, let's see. Okay, we had a huge storm here. They're still having. And due to that, we basically lost the internet. So I hope you are able to follow me now. As I was saying, I don't know when it was actually falling, but the vibrato, definitely no. Let's take a look now on the Univibe. Sounds to me a little bit chorus-ish. Not so much like a Univibe, but it could be. Later we have the auto filter. I know that the image now is not as good as it was to you before. Let's take a look on the auto filter. I hope that you cannot hear the sounds of the thunder and the storm here, but probably I'm going to try to go a little bit faster so I don't have all my equipments burned. A little bit muffled. Yeah, not my favorite one. Let's keep maybe on the. Let's keep it on the chorus. I think this is the best we can do. Let's go for the delay. Let's try to understand. So this is the analog. It's a beautiful delay. Um, really, it's really easy to see that they took from the elemental, the algorithms. Looks to me really beautiful. Maybe we could increase a little bit more the mix and the feedback a little bit more to have something a little bit more apparent so everybody's going to be able to notice. Oh my god, this is a huge storm here, guys. Yeah, let me close because you're going to have a rain sound, lo-fi song. But yeah, so beautiful. It's really beautiful delay. If we put a little bit longer, beautiful. Then you have the duck. That is the one that somehow unpacks the delay. Beautiful. Then we have the D tape, my favorite. Really, really beautiful. Then we have the duo. That is the one, let's call like a digital with a kind of a rhythmic pattern in it. Which honestly here, I am not able to hear so much. Let's put more feedback so we can understand. So, in theory, the time should be the tempo for the main one, and the speed should be the difference between the two rhythmic patterns. So, not so practical to adjust. Even these in the Elemental was not that practical, but yeah, could be. Later, we have, I am back here, the lo-fi. Lo-fi, again, pretty modulated one. You can see how beautiful it is, the texture, yeah? You can increase a little bit the feedback and a little bit the mix, just so you can hear it. You can clearly see these long trails of deterioration of the trail, what is really, really nice. So something more like a broken radio. Yeah, so basically those are the ones. I will keep the D-tape just to start building on top of what we have. And then we have the reverbs. The reverbs, first thing, let's take a look on the room. I'm going to turn off the delay so we can have a little bit easier view of the room. Let's see how it looks like. Apparently not that much modulated, but it's a huge room. Room tends to be a little bit more subtle. Let me see if we can reduce the decay to have something a little bit more dry. Okay, now we are inside the toilet, not inside the room, but better. So the minimum would be this. Without modulation. Yeah, actually, I have the perception that this room, it's almost like a hall that works in the same logic as the noise gate. Basically, it's just a hall that it basically turns down the volume subtle. So it's not like really if you would be placing it spatially inside a room. My opinion, those are not the same ones from the mini universe. At least the room one, I don't know. To me, it look at a little bit less modulated than the mini universe ones. But yeah, they cover what it's expected from them. Let's take a look on the hall. Yeah, sounds beautiful. Let's maybe increase a little bit of the mix so we can hear it a little bit more preeminent. Let's see. It's beautiful. It's beautiful hall. Um, but again, you can play with high pass, low pass, depth, but for me, doesn't look like the same ones as the mini universe. Doesn't look to me so modulated. And honestly speaking, this is not a bad critics for me. It's a positive point because one of the things that all the more traditional reverbs in the mini universe always sounded to me a lot modulated. These ones looks to me a little bit more usable in majority of the possibilities that people are actually using if you're not playing worship or if you're not playing post rock or ambient music. So basically, if you are into rock, pop, and all these other things, probably the hall could be a really useful one mode here. So interesting. This is the swell. I guess that is the same as we have in the mini universe, but let's take a look. Too much humble. Let's see. Let's increase it to be the mix and the decay. Sounded to me not so visible. Let's see. It's really interesting because it allows you to do not have so much noise or like background somehow making muddy the sound, and later you have this beautiful trail behind. So it's really interesting. I have the perception that it's not exactly the same as the mini universe. I have the perception that it's a little bit more tamed compared to the mini universe in terms of modulation again, but a really really beautiful one. I honestly believe that this is even more useful than the mini universe one, because to me the swell in the mini universe was basically useful if you were using with the full mix to be able to do pads. But yeah, then here you have a spring. Always a spring delay in the cheaper units do not sound like spring. So let's see. If you can hear the difference between this spring and the hall, please let me know. But for me, it's basically the same. It doesn't sound like a spring at all. Come on, Vav. You didn't need to do this. You could put just the mini universe one. Then we have the shimmer to my friends worship players. There it is. It's there. If we increase the mix so it gets a little bit more visible, of course the pitch here, as you can see, it's everything on the most like on the higher octave. Doesn't make sense to have something that is not 0 or 100, honestly speaking, in my opinion. Basically, you're going to choose if you want the upper or the lower octave. This is how it sounds on the lower octaves. Ah, yeah, beautiful shimmer. Honestly, I like these with the pitch on the minus, on the zero, because tends again to do not make the sound so much muddy. So you get basically a more clean tone from the dry sound, and it doesn't destroy the rest of the sound. Later you have the cloud. The cloud, again, probably it's the same as the mini universe. It's really beautiful. It's really nice. This one for me, it's my favorite shimmer style one. Even on the mini universe, it was one of my favorites. Again, I really reinforce. And guys, like this is just the reverb without the delay. If you add even the tape delay together with this, like you have basically a worship machine here. Remembering that we are still talking about their archetype preamp that comes native here, that is a really beautiful sound. I guess this is basically a capture from the neural effects from Mateus Asato. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, this looks really nice and really beautiful when it's played together. Let's hear everything together. There it is, guys. I think that we are reaching 2 hours of live stream. What is a pretty long live stream. I hope that this was helpful to you somehow. Once again, I would like to thank M-VAVE for sending us this interesting, really beautiful piece of gear. My final impressions from the first impressions. So I would say, guys, that basically I see usage for this much more as a complementary piece in a pedal board than really like the Tank G, that it was an all-in-one solution. I believe that it makes more sense when you think about the logic of the size that it has and the fact that it's only P10. So for me, it sounds like it was made to be fit inside the pedal board, maybe working as a Jolie, like basically a flexible piece that you could decide if you want to use just the preamps as a capture, or even together with the cab to put on the end of the signal chain, or as I was saying, even to use the delay and the reverb as an ambience unit, that you could have the presets that you don't have on the mini universe and on the elemental. So I see this piece of gear with a really interesting capability, but with completely different application that you have on the Tank G. I'm not telling that the person that would go for a Tank G could not go for this unit, but when you expect to have all-in-one that basically you're going to take, put this inside the gig bag and go to a rehearsal or go to play at the church or whatever it is, I don't see you doing this only with this unit. Starting by the amount of foot switches, at least you would need to take together a MIDI controller that, as I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, still is not confirmed that you have the full connectivity with the current Chocolat MIDI unit. So in this way, you would need basically to have a really strong patience to take a sit and organize all your presets according to all the set lists that you have. That if you think about the practicity that people would like to find in the Tank G, or even a new user, someone that is learning how to play the guitar, this person will not have the patience to be actually tweaking this. So, of course, it is a flexible tool. The same captures that the Tank G is able to capture and to run also runs here. So all the packs that you already bought for your Tank G or that you found on the internet with captures are going to be also compatible with the black box. But I clearly see that this is not exactly the same application as the Tank G. So if people were questioning if M-VAVE somehow cannibalized or killed its own Tank G solution, I would say that no. But for sure, they opened the possibilities for those who were saying that Tank G was not able to be used for professional use. I would say that this one probably has a little bit more flexibility to be able to cover the professional use, like you were saying, the possibility to take a look on the battery level, things like these that are basic, but it makes huge of a difference. And the possibility to fit this inside a more flexible pedal board. But somehow it still bothers me a little that M-VAVE basically inserted here. This is my opinion, okay? I have the perception that they added here some algorithms much more to be able to fulfill space. Like that vibrato that we saw, it's basically broken. This doesn't make sense. The noise gate still bringing the same issue that we had in the Tank G. So M-VAVE has still some homework to do. Of course, it's just the beginning. It's just the launching of the product. It's their new initiative inside this category of products. So I do not expect them to already be sailing in the blue ocean. We just need basically to support the brand, give the feedback, and as always, count that they're going to be listening to us in the same way that they listen till now, solving the problems that we found in the Tank G. And please, M-VAVE, focus, this is my personal feedback to you, focus on connectivity and also on the management of your software. As you saw, I was not able to connect this one straight to my unit here in my Mac. Of course, can be a problem of compatibility of the software. Maybe I need to update the version. I didn't check if there was released a newer version of the MFX after the black box was officially released. It could be. But anyway, it's a little bit annoying that we need to be always trying to look for and finding what is happening in terms of softwares. But thank you so much for sending. And guys, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Once again, I would like to spend a little bit of time to thank all of our members. So for all of our members, thank you so much for supporting the channel, for being part of this. For us, it's really important to have first of all, your trust on our work. So thank you so much, Heron, Wilk Xavier, Diego Cortes, Felipe Balotin, Gabriel Teixeira, William Jorge, Jeffrey, Maroto Social, Nathan Zamorra, Guilherme Silva, Léo Travali, Custódio, Lucas Gonçalves, Pedro Castilho, Caverna Áudio, Marcos Tavares, Alexandre Lima, and Neto Sambora. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. I hope to see you soon on our next giveaway that is scheduled already for the 5th July. I'll be back soon, guys. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next. Keep on rocking.